So we're going to talk about materials requirement planning today. And let me see. So at the end of this lesson, for this chapter probably, we want you will be able to first of all define material requirement planning. Okay, so it is after aggregate planning. So you need to understand aggregate planning, which we have already discussed last week. Okay, and this become the input for material requirement planning. Okay, it's very connected. It's one after another. And construct a product structure. We have seen this before. Okay, I'm going to show you again. This is new, building a gross requirement plan, which is actually related to MRP. Okay, when I say MRP, it will always mean material requirement planning. So MRP. Okay, so you will build a gross requirement. I will explain what gross requirement is. Or probably you can, if you have read it, then probably you can, if I've asked you a question, then probably you will be able to share and answer them. And related to gross is net requirement. Okay, so after gross, then we need to come up with a plan, which is actually the net requirement. It's very, very easy, very straightforward. Okay, it's just doing simple mathematics, plus minus. That's all. Okay. And that will become our master production schedule, basically. So from aggregate planning, it will become master production schedule, or MPS, master production schedule. Okay, MPS. So before we go further, remember when you talk about economic order quantity, we talk about independent demand. That means the demand, it has not got nothing to do with other items. Okay, consumer buys product that's independent demand. But in our MRP, we're talking about dependent demand. Okay, when you say dependent demand, so we need to understand this first. It means the demand of one item is related to the demand for another item. I always give the example. Okay, I will ask you the example of this. Okay. You can establish the relationship and structure between the items of the product. Okay, now give me an example. Anyone can give me an example of what products or what items can be considered as a dependent demand. You know, in production or in making, food products, fast food, McDonald's, KFCs. What is an example of a dependent demand? Yule, any example of a dependent demand that you can think of? Just give me one example. Don't worry, you know, you know, can you think of one example of item which is having a dependent demand? Then you need to, you know, do the planning differently. Anyone? Who?
Well, is tea leaf for bubble tea?
Tea leaves for bubble tea?
Yeah.
Okay, when you say tea leaves, what do you mean? The tea
Well,
bags? The tea bags?
yeah, tea bag.
Yes, that probably can be say a dependent demand. Okay, how do you determine that it is actually a dependent demand in that tea case? Okay, how do you relate to that?
Well,
it's not a clear example, but it can be. It can be. But I need a clearer example, and you know, very clear. You need, you know, the quantity depends on the other quantity. Okay, I'm giving you a hint.
a bubble for bubble tea?
The bubble for bubble tea. Okay. What about, what about, for example, making computers? Making computers. Okay. What are the items which are dependent on the final product? Think like this. Okay, the final product, or the final assembly is, consists of many items. So all these items, if you want to complete one final product, you need to have this number of, screws, for example. Screws? Screw, or, you do not screw, or even this casing, okay, the casing for the computer. One casing is required to make one computer, okay. One hard disk, one computer. So one computer consists of hard disk, casing, keyboards. So all these are dependent. If you want to produce 50 computers, you need 50 keyboards. How many tires go into a car? When you want to assemble one car, how many tires do you need?
4.
Four. You need 4 tires plus one spare tire. Okay, which sometimes doesn't give 4. So the dependent is like this. If I want to produce 100 cars, how many tires do I need to order?
400.
Yes, if I need 100 cars, yeah, you need 400 tires to be ordered. So that is dependent demand. The final, okay, so that is what we mean by dependent. The end item or the middle, product, okay, right? So the quantity requirements of a finished product depends on the parts, sub-assemblies, raw material in very specific numbers. So that's very important to understand first. So that is the concept of dependent demand, and there are many other things that we can that is actually explained about dependent demand. Okay, let's see. Let's see what are the things. But before that, so this is MRP, Materials Requirement Planning, is a dependent demand technique that will have this bill of material. You need bill of material, or you need product structure. Basically, bill of material and product structure is similar, and you need information on inventory on hand. How many you have already in the, in the stock, and then how many you expect to receive, which is actually order in the pipeline. All right. So these 4 requirements, and another one is master production schedule developed by planners to determine material requirements for production and subsequent delivery according to the time. So if I need the delivery to be on week 10 or next month, week 10, so I need to have this information and inventory and so on. So this is for planning purposes and for production purposes. So this is what MRP here relies. Okay, this is the structure. We will see this diagram again. So you need the bill of material, BOM. It's not bomb. We call it BOM, B-O-M, BOM. Not the bomb explode. Okay. Lead time. Why lead time? Because I want to know when to make it so that you can, or when to order before it arrives. When to place the order. Or if I place the order, when it will arrive. Inventory data, purchasing data. So you need this. You need all this before you can actually come up with the MRP, or material requirement plan. Okay. The output is a separate thing. We don't have to discuss that yet. So the dependent demand is used in MRP. The benefit is that because when we know how much to produce, when, then it will make our production or our process faster. McDonald's uses this. McDonald's, if they the demand to produce 100 burgers a day, so they need to have 100 burgers. They need to have the quantity required for making this product. Okay, a burger is a product. Okay, you need the cheese, you need the onions, you need the tomato, you need, right? So better respond to customer orders, faster respond to market changes, improve utilization of facilities, and so on. Okay. So for dependent demand inventory model, which is this MRP. MRP is actually our so-called model for managing inventory. So we need to have master production schedule, which is specifying what to make and when to make. Okay, when to make and when what to make. We need bill of materials. Again, I'm repeating that. We are going to go through how to construct bill of material. Okay, inventory availability is information of what is remaining, and purchase orders outstanding is what is ordered, not yet arrived. You already ordered but not arrived, but that is called expected receipts. I've not used my pen for a long time. Okay, I hope it can be used. Okay, expected receipts. Okay. And lead times. Lead time is how long does it take to get the parts and components. Lead time. All purchases have lead time. Okay. Or even manufacturing. When to make the particular product. So just briefly, okay, MPS is specifying what is to be made and when. And it is based on aggregate production plan. Remember last week we talked about aggregate plan, how much to produce in 1 month after you get the year's volume. Okay, the whole year forecasting, and you come up with the aggregate plan. But now you are going to develop the master production schedule. But of course, master production schedule also based on planning. It's a production planning process. Okay. It's like this. From your aggregate plan, for example, 1 month, you make 5,000. Then you're going to break up into weeks. If your planning is in weeks, if it's in days, it's going to be in days. Right. Okay, we're not going to go to too much of this. It's just specifying in terms of what to make and when to make. What to make, specific product, when to make, and it is a commitment of what is to be produced. It's just a schedule. Okay, it's a schedule of what you're going to make, and not a forecast of demand, because forecast is already in front. You already get the forecast volume. So the detail is this. Last week we already talked about this. So we were in sales and operations planning. From that information, it will be developed into a master production schedule. I'll just show you, okay, this is what we mean by master production schedule, okay? So the aggregate plan was, for example, producing 1,500. Remember, aggregate doesn't tell the different type of product. But when you break down into master production schedule, so this is the requirement, okay? We're not going to go to how they derive this, but this is what we call as MPS. Okay, this is MPS. We are interested in developing MRP for how to make 100 here, how to make 500 here. So it's another level. Okay, it's a level below MPS. So we have MPS, master production schedule. So if you total this, 100 plus 500 plus 100 is going to total to 1,500. 600 plus 600 plus 300. Okay. So month, break down into weeks, this become MPS. Okay. Okay, MPS can be expressed in all this, okay, in different form. But but it is depending on the nature of the product. Okay, it's a customer order, or it is a module, or even an item. An item means the finished product. Okay, where you stock to the forecast of the company. Okay. Now that's the first thing that I need to. This is an example of MPS lah. Okay, MPS. Again, it is MPS, right? But from here, how are we going to break down into materials? That's why it is called materials requirement. Materials requirement. This is the gross number. This is the total end product. End product. But in this end product, there are many items. Okay, many items. So when we are going to order this, and depending on our stock, so that is materials requirement. Okay. Right. So this brings us to when you have end product. So we need to, before we can do any planning, before we can do any ordering, we need to know the bills of material. So what is the bill of material? Yuki, what is the bill of material? What is bill of material? What is product structure? Anyone else can help Yuki?
It's a list of components, ingredients, and materials needed to make product.
Okay. What do you mean by it is a list of materials, components, sub-assemblies? I know you found that from the book, but can you explain in a simple, words? When you make a cake, or when you cook sushi, okay, the end product is sushi. So what is the bill of material?
Rice, fish.
Yeah, so it's the ingredients for the end product. If I want to make a car, there'll be ingredients. The ingredients are the tires, the seats, the carpets, the steering. So all products will have it is the list of components and ingredients. I'm introducing to you the concept of parent. What's a parent? When I say level above it, can you just think about the sushi that I talked about just now? What is the parent and what is the child? What is the child parts? Item below any level of components. What's the parent? Anyone can understand this concept? Who? In the bill of material, we have list of components and ingredients.
Yes. Like we make sushi, what is the child component and what is the parent component?
What is the child component? What is a parent? You have a father and mother. Mother, father. Right. Of course, under here, this is called parents. This is we call it parents. Under parents, there are this level is called child. Like who you have your brother 1, brother 2, or you only one in your family. I have 4. Okay, So I have sister 1, sister 2. So this is the child. So all products will have the end product, which is the parent, the end product, or the sub-assembly. Sub-assembly. Then you have child parts. Child parts mean the component, the raw materials. Understand? Okay. So we're going to make this. We're going to make this bill of material. Okay. We're going to make bill of material. Now, this same example given in the book, which is actually speaker kits, package hi-fi components for mail order. So they package, then they combine and make it into a speaker. So the product A, which is an awesome speaker, it is made up of 2B and 3Cs. Okay. But for each B, it consists of another child component, which is 2Ds and 2Es. Right? For each C, it consists of 2Fs and 2Es. Understand? You understand this, the level that is actually going down. So each level there is child part. Each level there is child part. Okay. And for F consists of 2D, 2Ds, and 1G. And these are all dependent demand. Okay, because if in order for us to complete 1A, we need all this. If not, 1A cannot complete. You understand? If not, A won't be able to be completed. Right? So from here, we develop this so-called bill of material or product structure here. Okay, this is the called product structure for A. Right? Can you understand? This is level 0, which is the parent. The parent product is A, the final product. It consists of 2B. That's why there's number 2 here. Number 3 here. Can you see? Oh, okay. The one which is actually being used by many components is going to be put at a lower level. Why D is at the lower level? Because you need D to produce F. Probably D is just, for example, a pen or some sticker, So you have to actually put it at the lower level. So this is the level 3. So that's why D is used at 2 places. D is required for B and also F. Okay, understand? So this is the so-called the product structure. Now, why is it important? Because we want to know the quantity. If I don't have this product structure, I cannot determine the quantity. Okay, right. So do this exercise for a while. I know the answer is in the book, but I want you to think, if customer order 50 awesome speakers, how many of the components and items needed for each of these parts? Okay. How many items is needed for each part? Any questions here before you do this? Any questions here? Any questions? Okay. Then tell me how many parts is required for B. And how do you get that? I will write it down. Okay. How many Bs is required for order of 50 awesome speakers? Are you home? You switch on your video, I call your name. Oh, kerana
15 again.
More ikan. I just explained to you that okay, this is the bill of material. We have parent, we have child. This is the information of the bill of material for this product, awesome, which is A. We call it A. Okay, A is made up of 2B and 3C. That means to make 1A, you need 2B and 3C. So to make 1A, you need 2B and 3C. To make 1B, you need 2D and 2E. To make 1C, you need 2E and 2F. To make 1F, you need 1G and 2D. So the question is, if I want to make 50A, how many B's do I need?
100.
Okay, how do you get 100? How do you get 100? The answer is correct, but how do you get 100?
Because if you want to get one speaker, you need 2B.
Exactly.
So
So
it's
2B multiplied by 50. So this is what is the material required. So that's what you call material requirement. Material required for B. Okay, let's get Fang Yi to answer for part C. Okay, part C. How many C's is required for 50A? Fang Yi is around? Fang Yi is not there.
I'm here.
Okay, you can guess the answer.
150.
How do you get 150?
3 plus 50.
You need 3C for every 1A. So you times 50. Okay, so you get 150. Okay, another material required. So material required for C is 150. Okay. So now we are calculating the required. Okay, D. Okay, let's do E first. Let me just or do the simple one first. Let's do F first. How many F is required? You know you require 150. Okay, how many?
300.
Okay, how do you get 300?
Because you need 3C to make an A, but to make C you need 2F. Is it F or E? E. You need 2E.
F. Yes, I'm
F.
talking about F.
Okay.
Yeah, 2F, 1C.
Oh, it means 6 times.
1C.
Yeah.
So you're making 150C actually.
Yeah.
150C. So it's actually 2 times 150, which is, yeah, you're right, 300. It's a bit tricky, okay? It's a bit tricky because you need to really look at the numbers. Sorry, this is not here. This is actually here. 2 times 150, which is 300. Okay. Okay, let's do E first. Let's do E. Remember, E, there is, two branch. Okay, okay. E. Okay, we have B already. You need B and C, okay? And how many E's do you need for one B?
600.
Okay, how do you get 600?
Me plus 2 じゃなくて2 plus
Two, okay. Do
300.
one by one. Do this first, okay? 2 times 100 plus 2 times, don't plus this because you'll confuse, because after this, when you talk about the planning, it will actually translate into different route, different planning, okay? Because each will have different lead time after this. So 2 times 100 plus 2 times 150, 300, 500. Is it 500? It's 500. 600 jana yo. 500 yo. Wakarimasu ka? Okay. Right. And we haven't done D. Okay, this is not D. This is not D just now. This is F. So D is 2 times 100 plus 2 times 300. So D is 2 times 100 plus 3 times, 2 times 300. 2 times 300, which is 800. Okay, we need 800 Ds. Okay, look at this. Okay, look at this. D. Okay, so 2 times 300 plus 2 times 100. Okay, so 600 plus 200. So 200 plus 600, 800. D is 800 parts. And finally, G is 1 times 300. Okay. So all these are called the material requirement. How much is required? But now you do not know when. You only know how much. Okay. So we need to develop this further. Okay. But of course, today you have softwares. I'm not denying you can have softwares. So this is the answer. If there are, so you can ask a lot of questions right now. If this is the same answer as before, okay? These are the parts required. If there are already 100 Fs in stock, how many Ds do I need now?
400.
400. So 100 Fs in stock. So you
You need 200 more Fs to make.
You need to make 200 more F.
Yes.
1 F require 2 Ds, 400. But you have another D here, don't forget. There's a, so it's actually 600. You have D
Yeah.
here. So this is 400, this is 200. So you need 600, not 800 Ds. So D is no more 800, you need 600 because you already have 100 F in stock. So that's how you come up with the plan later on. Okay, later on that's why we need to know the gross first. This is gross, gross. Okay. So other things which are important in MRP that we need to understand is you need accurate inventory records. Accurate means to the unit. If we only we are left with 51, then we need that record exactly 51. We don't want, we have about 50. About is not good word. About is not good. We must exactly accurate inventory record. We need purchase orders outstanding. Purchase orders outstanding means you know what is being waiting to be ordered to arrive, and you have the lead time for buying and making. Little bit about the bill of material. Okay, there are different kind of bill of materials. Sometimes you come up with the sub assembly. The sub assembly comes from the suppliers, and you don't want to, break it down further. So that's modular. Okay, it's called modular. Some of them are just planning purposes, or we call it pseudo. Okay, sub assembly. Okay, and phantom bill. don't worry much about this. This is the bill of materials, different kind of bill materials being used. But the basic one is you must understand this. Any products will have, or you need to develop. Okay, you need to develop. Of course, not you, the engineers. Or so when you work later on, when you work in a company, for example, in production, when someone tell you, okay, this is our product structure, this is our bill of material, you can easily understand. You can easily ask simple questions: how much to make, how much to, when to make. Okay, this need to be explained and discussed. Okay, so what is lead time? What is lead time? Someone can read this, or who can you read this?
Yes, the time required to purchase product or assemble an item. For production, the sum of move, setup, and assembly or run times. For purchased items, the time between the
Recognition.
recognition of a need and when it's available for production.
Okay. So what is this is the first one, production. What is the meaning of this? The sum of the move, set up. Can you explain this, Yule? What do you mean by the sum of move, set up for production?
Waiting for use or combine in our products.
Okay, so you imagine, for example, making the sushi again. Okay, making the sushi. There's two components here, right? When you make the sushi, for example, your company is making sushi. The raw materials, does it fall under production or purchase lead time? The raw materials, okay, that means, for example, you find out, there's no more rice. You need to order the rice. Okay, so it falls under purchase item. Does it fall under production? Production lead time? Lead time means you need time to make it. You need time to purchase it. You need time to deliver it. Okay. Understand? So production is, for example, you want to assemble a computer. How many days does it need to assemble a computer? So that is the lead time. Understand? You order a computer, it doesn't come to you instantaneously. Of course, it comes to you instantaneously. If you order from production, that means you order directly to Dell, not from the shop. Okay, you directly order from the Dell. It will take you probably 1 month or 3 months before it reaches your house. But because you buy from the retail shop, it's already completed. It just give you, right? Okay, so because they have production time. Production time is, set up, assembly, doing the cutting, doing all these things. Okay. Right. So lead time for component is established by the company as well as the time needed by the supplier. The supplier promise you, okay, I can deliver you 1 week. That is their lead time. So if all these components, this is the same example. This is this A, B, C, D, E, G. Don't run away from this A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This awesome. Okay, this awesome. So this awesome. Sorry. This awesome. Even the A A is the finished product. You need 1 week. That means if I say, okay, I want the assembly of the speaker, final product, I need 1 week. You need to tell me 1 week before I can give you. So this is the lead time is for A is 1 week, B 2 weeks, and so on. Okay. So if I use this information, this lead time information, I can construct a so-called time phase product structure. Remember, this is still a product structure, but it is inverted. Can you imagine this is inverted? Inverted means this is the other way around. It is not vertical, but it is horizontal. Horizontal. So you can see this A, B, C, D, E, and so on. So what has happened is that we have included information about product completion time. That's what I said just now. If you order direct from Dell, maybe you take 3 months. I like this lah. Okay. Right. So can you explain to me, Yuki, can you explain and what is happening for A, at time 7 here? This is time 7. This is beginning, beginning of week 1, beginning of week 2, beginning of week 3, beginning of week 4, 6, beginning of week 7, beginning of week 8. Okay. Can you imagine what is happening here? Or anyone who wants to try? I'm letting you to think actually. I'm not going to. I will tell you after this. Yuki, what is happening at here? Can you explain from 7 to 8 here with regards to A? Or anyone want to help Yuki?
Maybe packaging the product or deliver the product.
Where is packaging? Yuhong, you answer that.
Yes.
Where is packaging?
Okay.
When is product A completed? When is product A completed?
In week 8.
So at week 8, at number 8 here, right? So week
Yeah.
8 is actually completed. Product is completed because order you have to deliver. At week 8, we promise vendor or our what do you call client, our customer, ready. So 8 is ready, deliver. So what is week 7? Because there's a line here. This is what
Week
is 1 week
7.
here? I told you just now. What is 1 week here?
Week 7 means except A, all the other parts is done. And we start to make A from B.
Start to make A. I like the answer. Start to make A. If you want to start make A at week 7, because lead time for A wa nan desu ka? Lead time for A.
Lead time for A is
1 week. 1 week.
Yes,
1
it's
week.
1 week.
B is 2 weeks. C is 1 week. So that's why we have this 7. So this is so-called order release. You need to release the order on the week 7 for A so that you can complete on week 8. So you need 1. So you move backwards because B and C dependent. You need to complete B before you can assemble A. Okay. But B can only be completed at week 7 here because it requires 2 weeks to produce. It must start on week 7 or week 5. Okay. So let's get someone else to Yule. You explain to me this B. You explain this B to me. use these numbers, okay, and explain to me what is happening to B. What is the lead time for B?
Well, ready or assembling the products B.
The lead time of B. What is the lead time? How many weeks do we need to produce B?
2.
2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. We need to produce. We need 2 weeks time to produce B. If I want B to be available on week 7, I need to start production on week 5. So time will completed. So start production, finish completed B. B can be sent, assemble, and complete in 1 week for A. Same thing for C. Okay. So C is also, so all these are backtrack, okay? Backtrack, this is called a time phase. Okay, if we trace back, so that's why the answer here, 2 weeks to produce. D must, okay, for B to be assembled, you need D and E, but D will require 1 week. So the start of production of D is on week 4. So 1 week to complete D, and then E, maybe E is ordered item, so 2 weeks. So D and E available, we can produce B. So this is the time to produce B actually. This is the time to produce D. This is the time to produce E or order E. Remember, lead time is either order or produce. Correct? Lead time is either you place an order. For example, you place order here, it will arrive here. It is available. Okay. Any questions? This is time phase product structure that you can understand. It will start from beginning of week 1, and of course it requires actually 7 weeks. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 weeks. The total lead time is 7 weeks, right? Questions? Any questions? No. Oh, any question?
No.
No, that you would show. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so time phase product structure for all the components. So this is again the MRP structure. I'm not going to. So earlier we do not have this. So now we have. So you need data files for BOM or our bill of material. We need lead time. Then only we can come up with our MRP, our gross requirement and so on. So I've not come up to the MRP yet. All these are basic information needed. Inventory data, purchasing data. Okay. So from these 4 information, then only I can manipulate and think about if I need 50 awesome speakers, when do I need to order material C, material D? When do I need to produce B? So we can do a backwards, okay, backward calculation to determine the requirements. Okay, right. So we'll start with this. Okay, this is the first concept to understand is gross requirements. Determining gross requirements. The same example, now we are talking about trying to produce 50 units of A in week 8. So we start with a production schedule for the N item of 50 units. Use the lead time for the item, and you want to determine the week in which the order should be released for A. It needs 1 week lead time. That means the order for 50 units should be released in week 7, which I've shown you just now. Okay, which I've shown you and you have seen just now. But in terms of terminology, this is called lead time offset or time phasing. We are phasing time. Okay, phasing time, trying to determine when the order should be released. You understand the meaning of the order should be released? That means the starting of the lead time. Okay, if you require 1 week, that means the order should be released week 7, so that we can complete on week 8, because it requires 1 week for production. So this is time phasing, this is order release, right? And you are talking about gross requirement. Gross means total, total. Gross means total. I think I have one slide for this. Right. From the bill of material, okay, every item A requires 2 item Bs. Okay. I think I've left Asoka. Comment. Okay, this is still gross. Okay, gross. Now, for every item A, you requires 2 item Bs. 100 item Bs are required in week 7 to satisfy the order release for item A, and the lead time for B is 2 weeks. So you have to actually find out what is the number of items needed when it is going to be released. Okay, for all the items. So 100 Bs required in week 7. The release order for 100 items is week 5. So the release order is week 5, so that you can get the item at week 7. Okay, and the timing on quantity is quantity for component requirements is called release order of the parents. Okay, so you are actually releasing order to the parents. Okay, parents are any parts or any item above it. Okay, it's not necessarily the final item. Okay, it is actually child to a parent, and then the parent become the child to another parent. Okay. So if we do it correctly, so we will continue through the entire bill of material, one level at a time. And this process is called explosion. This process is called, it's not, exploding. Exploding, okay? We are trying to break down into different levels. Okay, by processing the bill of material level by level, we are trying to, we are saving time and resources and reducing confusion, so that we know when is required. Okay, until we reach the final level. Okay, low level coding. That means you put the requirements of the material which is required in many levels at the lowest. Don't mix up. Okay, which is the D just now. D is put at the lowest level, not at the level which is difficult to understand. Okay. Okay. So finally, so this is what we have developed actually. Okay. If you see here, week 8 required date 50. Then the order release is week 7, which is 50. For B, because you need, so this is what is important, because the requirements just now that we calculate the quantity. So you need 100 of Bs. So it will be released on week 5. We need 150 of C. It will be released on week 6. We need 2, okay, 2 types of requirement for E. One is for B and one is for C. It is related upwards, okay? This is 200, 100. This is 300 to 150. Understand? This is for this. Korewa for this. Okay? So that's why when you calculate the total just now, we cannot just 2 plus 2 times, the upper level. It must be separately counted so that this become, okay, this is the order release. This is the order release for this quantity to assemble C. This 200 is to assemble B. So different, okay? Even though it is the same E, same E goes to different parent. The parent of E is both B and C. Okay, there's 2 parents. Wakaruka? Wakarimasu ne? Wakaruka? Okay. So I've written here, okay, interpretation. In fact, it is also described the same in the textbook. Okay, to produce 50, we need 100 of B, and release order of 100 at week 5, since lead time is 2 weeks. So backwards, we move backwards. So this diagram, this table can only be constructed backwards. Okay, it's not coming from here. It is coming from here, backwards. Okay, so E is used for C and B. E is used for C and B. Therefore, 2 entries, same as item D. Same as item D. It is used for, it's used for E as well as F. Okay. This is D. B and F. Okay, correct. This is B, B and F. Okay. Right. Any questions? Any questions? It's a bit confusing. Okay, it's not not very convenient. Okay. Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So then I can move on to net requirements. Okay. Net requirements. So far, we talk about gross. Gross is the overall or the total. When we say net, we are trying to figure out whether we need to account for or deduct the inventory. So in gross, no inventory has been considered, or purchase in materials in purchase orders have not been considered. It's just gross. The total amount. The material on hand that we have not considered. Okay. So basically, net requirements adjust for on-hand inventory as well as purchase orders. Something that you receipts, something that you want to waiting to be received, delivering. Okay, so net requirements adjust for that. So maybe you want to deduct gross with the inventory on hand. Okay. So if I have this inventory, item A, B, C, all these I have on hand means inventory. Inventory. I have on hand 10 of A. I have 15 of B. I have 20 of C. I have 10 of D. I have 10 of E, 5 and so on. Okay. I've done G. I don't have anything. So this is what is in my stock, in my storeroom. So if I need 50 items of A to be delivered on week 10, week 8, and 10 is already inventory. So the net required is no more 50. the net required is 50 minus 10, which is 40. So 40 units of A only need to be produced because I have already 10. So I don't want to produce more than what is required. Okay. So this is the net required. And if 1 unit of A uses 2 units of B, we only need to order 80 units of B only. Understand? So we don't want to use the gross number anymore. Gross is just gross, okay? But in reality, in planning, you are going to plan for what? For the one which is actually actual on hand, and you don't want to, order more than what is required, okay? So that's the meaning of net, okay? Let me see. Okay, let's finish this first this slide. That I want to take you a break. Okay, so just think about this. Okay, so what happened is that we are going to add another column, another row in our planning. Our planning sheet to actually account for that. Okay, so it's a bit messy. So we start with production schedule for an item 50 units of A in week 8 because there are 10 items on hand, only 40 actually required. So gross requirement minus on hand. So we call this the planned order received. So I'm going to come up with a new term, planned order received. For item A is 40 units. Okay. So if I come up with a table. So this is the MRP planning table. Now this is the real MRP. Okay. Forget about lot for lot. Okay, there's this lead time. On hand 10. So read across. Okay. On hand 10. Lower level code. Okay, this is the coding. Code 0. There's now A, and the other identification is A. Some companies they use part number. Part number M125, M123. If you read here, gross requirements, 50, and we have on hand, projected on hand. Because, it's only 10, so we just put in 10, the whole column here. So 50, 10, we already have 10. So the net is 40, So the net is 40. So when will 40 be required to be plan order release? Okay, plan order release. You cannot see that. It's actually plan order release. Can you see now? Plan order release on week 7 is 40. Okay. So our job now is using all this on hand inventory. If you look at this, we are going to develop the net requirements. Okay, that's the actual material MRP. The MRP is actually the net requirements. Gross is just the total number. It doesn't give us our planning purposes. Okay. So I want to stop for a while here. Okay, I've been quite fast today. Take a 5-minute break. Take a coffee break so that I can come back and not finish, but explain the rest of the other net requirements. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So QK 5 minutes, 5 minutes or 10 minutes QK しましょう. So before the break, I think what I have explained to you is how to determine gross requirements. Okay. So this is your gross requirement table. So it consists of all information about the required date and order release date. And And after that, we need to determine the net requirements. What net requirement does is actually consider on-hand inventory. Okay, and we have already reached our the final product, which is item A, and when it should be so-called plan release, plan order receipts is completed. Okay, 40 is completed, receipts and plan order release. So we need to order. That means the product must be produced week 7, then only it will be completed in 1 week. So we explode it. Okay, we explode to the next level. Explode, we find the next item, which is actually item B. Just switch on my battery. Okay, for item B, you will see that following the lead time offset procedure, the plan order release for item A is now 40 units week 7. The gross requirement for item B is now 80 units in week 7. So no more 100 unit, 80 only, 40 times 2. And there are 15 units on hand. So the net requirement is 65 weeks in week 7. So what happened is this. So you have projected on hand, which is 15. You minus 80, 80 minus 15, you get 65 and 65. So the plan order release is going to be on week 5. Okay, you can see here, this is week 8, 7, 6, 5, 65 to be released, and you will get it on the week 7. Okay, so a plan order receipt of 65 units in week 7 generates a plan order release of 65 units in week 5. Okay, so what have we done actually? We have considered the inventory. How much was the inventory? How many was in our inventory for item B? Yuhong, how many item B in our inventory? So where did we get the information from? So I've already shown you, this is the information of our item inventory, right? Okay, we have 15 and so on. Okay, so based on this, then you need to actually determine our plan order release for B. And we can go and do that for C, D, and so on. So it is actually deducting from the gross requirement what we already have on stock. Gross requirement minus what we have on stock. But of course, the gross requirement for the parent, because it has been reduced, so it is not the same as the gross requirement when nothing is in stock. Okay, so you must deduct along the way. So what happened is this. So a plan order of 65 units in week 7 will generate a plan order release of 65 in week 5. The on-hand inventory record for item B is updated to reflect the use of 15 items inventory and shows no on-hand inventory in week 8. So this is referred to as the gross to net calculation, and it is being done in the MRP process. Okay, the third basic function of the MRP process. So you do the backward calculation and backward exploration until you get your final. So this is what ABC. Okay, ABC. Can you see this? Okay, can you understand this reduction of 65, and then for C it is only 120. We have 20 on stock. Okay, and it will be the net requirement is 100, and it will be plan release on week 6. Okay, week 6, right? If you look at the book, if you look in the book on page 611, okay, so you will see the whole tables of net material requirement for 50 unit of products in week 8. Okay, which is actually this. I think the book is, let me just stop this share for a while. It actually contains all this, okay? It contains all this, right? Let me just, can you see the book?
Yes.
Okay, so it's on page 611. So you can see the whole, the total picture of all the this. Okay, the total picture of the net material requirement plan for 50 units of product A. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G. But luckily, you know, all these are in software today. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this. But the mechanics is this. Okay, if you do not understand this mechanics, okay, how it works. If I give you a black box, you just understand the black box. So if I tell you this is my MRP software, and this MRP software will give us our net requirements, which week, you know, based on our production master production schedule. So you won't be able to understand where it comes from. But now you can see that it is coming from gross, and you need to know your on hand. Okay, you need to know your on hand. You need to do this backward lead time calculation. Okay, for example, you know, this, how this 80 come from, because it is 2 times the number of A's, which is 80. You go down here, this because we have 15, you minus, you put in 65 here. So when you put the Excel calculation, so the calculation is actually being done backwards. So 65 is on week 7, and the lead time is 2 weeks. So week 5, release. Okay, keyword release, receipt, release, receipt. So for C, 3 of A's, okay, which is 120, 3 times 40. Okay, so that's, I think this is much clearer to understand, because you can see where it comes from, right? Where it comes from. 120 is actually 3 times 40. So you drop down 80 minus 120 minus 20 become net 100. The net will be time phase here. This is the lead time. That's why the arrow go backwards. This is 100. So you need to understand just now what the product structure. That's why it's important to see the product structure, to understand the product structure. Once you understand the product structure, then you can see how it actually you know, relates, and how the lead time will play a role for calculating the requirements. Okay. I know this is you know, maybe not very exciting for you. Okay, not exciting because you know these are numbers, and but these are important things that we in production actually manage this. Right. Any question on this? Can you? Okay, I'll just test you. Okay, I'll test Yuli. I'll test Yuli, then after test the others. Okay. What is this number here? 5. I'll make it a bit bigger. What is this number 5 here, Yuli? Don't worry, all of you will get one question from me before we end the class.
Projected on hand time.
Projected on hand. Okay, what does it mean? I want a simple layman language. I don't want the written in the book. So that you illustrate the understanding. What is 5?
Begin to prepare or create the products,
The B,
the products.
B is the product. Okay, Yuki, what is 5? I'm not satisfied with the answer. I want to know the answer. What is 5 here? Anyone who wants to help Yuki and Yule? Yuki, can you answer that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, what's 5?
Mm,
What is 5? 5 is which?
Is the procedure begins to produce B when the is that not correct?
No. What
What?
is 5 here? What is 5?
Boy.
What is, okay, what is 10 here? Yule, what is 10 there? It's the same.
You mean can you show me which file do you mean?
This 5. I'm pointing out this this 5 here. I'm showing the, can you see my writing?
It's
5 here.
Yeah.
This 5.
I thought it's the week 5.
No,
We thought it's the
not
week
with 5.
5.
I'm saying here, what is this 5 quantity here?
This is the C on hand, I think. The
Stock
project
hand. This inventory.
Yeah,
Inventory
it's the
for
inventory
for
of
what?
the
For
C.
which item?
C.
For which item?
Oh, it's not for C, it's for F.
Yeah, for F. Where do you see the F?
It's
Written here F,
the
right?
left side of the, yeah.
So F has 5 on hand.
Yes,
E
the stock.
has 10 on hand.
Yeah.
C has 20 on hand. 20 on hand. Okay.
Yeah, because you highlight the week 5, we thought you are talking about the week 5.
No. This is quantity that is on hand. Okay, then I will ask you. Okay, can you see this? Okay, I'm drawing this. The next one. Okay? Below this 5, there is 195. What is 195?
195 is the net requirement.
Where did it come from?
You need to you need 200, but you already stock 5 here. So 200 minus 5 is
200 minus 5. The answer is 200 minus 5. 200 minus 5 is 195. Okay. Okay, Fangi. Then below 105, this is another 195. There is an arrow connect to 195. Explain to me this. Can you see? I've circled this. Explain to me, everyone. Can you see? I'm circling 195, arrow going to 195. Explain to me that. Or anyone? Not who have answered all the questions. Yu Hong. Maybe Yu Hong. What is this 195 and there is an arrow going to the another 195. Explain to me this connection. 195 arrow 195. Here. This one. Okay. So everybody can understand this one. I'm talking about this. Contoh, sesame stay kudasai. Dah ada demo iyo. Yuhong, do you understand? Okay. Yuki.
You need
Try to I've explained to you. Okay, this is okay. Let's go to A. Here 40 week 8. There is arrow going to 40 here. This 40 is week 7 to week 8. What is here written here? All the same, all going down same. So for the first 40, what it says here? Plan order. Receive, correct?
Yes.
So 40, receive mean completed. Release, why we put release? 40, same number, but there is an arrow, 40, release. Why is it this 40 here? Why is this 40 here?
We need to start make here is A. We need to start
Yes. You need to start
A
because of the lead time. That's what we call as, order release. If I want to, if we need to take 3 weeks to order this component, okay, this component, for example, this component, this component. Let's see whether I can open this or not. Okay, I need to order this component. I need to order this component. 3 weeks.
Yes.
So now week 10. When should I issue my purchase order?
A minus 3, so it's 5. Week 5.
Yeah, so week 5, I need to
Release.
order. Then
Yeah.
this week it will arrive. So that is, anything you buy, anything you make, that is what we call the lead time. So all these will have lead time. So 40, so 195, if you go there 195, going 195, week 7, 195. Week 3, plan order release 195. So I need to order on week 3, 195 parts.
Yes.
And on week 8, week 6, the parts will arrive.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the meaning of this. Okay, that's the meaning of this. What do you call the arrows that is being put? That is showing. It is actually showing the relationship between all these the net requirements. So the net requirements for 50 units of product. Remember, we are planning for 50 units of product. We are planning. We are trying to plan when to order the parts. When should the parts come? And when should we, then it will be completed. The A can be delivered. If we don't do this planning, this A won't be able to be completed. Understand? So this final product can only be completed. Final product can only be completed if B, C, E, F, D, you follow this schedule.
Yes.
Okay, that is the key. That's the main point.
Excuse me. The 195 what I understand is if we need the 195F in week week
Six,
six,
yes.
then we have to order it in week 3, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
That's what-
exactly. You're right.
Okay,
If we need
okay.
to order week 3, then we will get the 155 on week 6. And because we have 5 already, so we have 200 that we can give to our
Yes.
parents.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
C will be given to okay, which the parent? Okay, let's see. Can remember everything. Okay, so C will be passed on. Yeah, A. Okay, you need C to be assembled with B and become your product. Okay, so you need C and B to become your product. Okay, right. Okay, I think I'm going to stop now because I want you to go back and try to do this. You're going to present this. You're going to discuss this in class next week. Okay, I want you to do this exercise so that you have an idea. It is good because it will have you make you figure out, think about, how to develop these net requirements. Okay, problem 1410, not submission, we'll discuss in class 1410. Okay, problem 1410, 14.10. So I want you to do, because the information is this one. This is the information and this is the product structure. Okay. Develop a gross requirement plan and given the process, determine the master production schedule and inventory status. Okay. If you don't have time, we'll do it in the class next week. Okay, we just do some preparation and we'll just discuss in the class.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so I think that is all for today's lesson. Unless you have any questions, you want to discuss anything. If you don't have time, it's also okay. You just go through and prepare a little bit, then we can do it together in the class next week. Okay, how's the other classes? You're having
It will be better from next week because